So what does this mean for fishing? Let's get to the Good Catch Fishing Report with Captain Dylan Hubbard. He's over at John's Pass. Good morning. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
We're good. We're all good here. Thank you. I know we had some weird weather. What's it doing to the fishing?
Well, this past week was definitely a little bit up and down, but overall we've been seeing a good inshore bite on the redfish, the sheepshead. Those are really the fish that kind of stood out this past week. Snook fishing's been a little challenging. Definitely a lot of those fish are starting to make their way back into the bay, trying to seek those more constant temperatures in the back bay, shallow, muddy bottoms, where it's shallower and the water can warm up more quickly with that morning sun. Definitely more of an afternoon bite on almost all of our inshore species as the sun warms up those seawalls, that dark bay mud, those mangrove shorelines, starts to radiate heat and get those predatory fish moving around a little bit more, just like you and I. And being in Florida, we wake up 5, 6 a.m., it's 50 degrees outside. You're moving slow until about 10 a.m. when it's back into the 70s. Same thing with these fish, but just a few degrees of temperature change is all you need to really see those fish turn on and start more actively feeding. Slower moving lures are key, especially when that water temperature is low. Those fish are super lethargic. A lot of live shrimp is a great option too, because they move slowly more naturally and definitely enables those fish to feed more easily. Sheepshead, very prolific around our docks, bridges, piers, jetties. Even the rock piles at Tampa Bay are producing some nice sheepshead. We're seeing some flounder action adjacent to those grass flats and structures in those sandy bottom areas. We're seeing some black drum around too, mostly in the back bay areas around those dock structures. The residential canals becoming definitely more and more of a hot spot. And at night, those underwater lights, especially those older model underwater lights that emit a little bit of temperature, definitely have been producing really well on snook, redfish, and trout. But inshore right now, you got to keep your eyes peeled for those seabirds. We got a lot of hungry seabirds around. That bait is deeper this time of year, so the seabirds are super hungry, and they're definitely kind of scouting fishermen. If you do happen to accidentally hook a seabird, make sure you reel it in. Don't get freaked out. Got to reel it all the way in and get that hook out of that bird. Keep some bolt cutters in your tackle box this time of year, or some good pairs of pliers, and make sure you get that hook out of the bird, or at least cut the hook so that way it can fall out naturally. Don't leave line hanging from those seabirds, because they're going to go back to their nesting spot and roost for the night. They're going to get entangled in those trees and unfortunately have a painful ending. So make sure you cut any excess line off any birds you happen to accidentally hook. And that's about it inshore, Russell.
That was great advice. That was great advice about the birds, though. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you did that. Okay, we got little time left for near shore and offshore, so hit it.
Well, near shore right now, big news is the hogfish. The hogfish bite has been stellar. Anywhere from 40 all the way up to about 80, 90 foot of water. We're catching a lot of those hogfish. Light tackle, live shrimp, minimal weight, definitely key. We're seeing a lot of lane snapper. Once you get past about 70 foot of water, biting really well. Some nice red grouper action, about 80 to about 120 foot of water. We've got that deep water closure that started February 1st and runs to the end of March. So during that deep water closure, you got to stay inside 120 foot to keep those grouper. But fishing is great. It's a great time to get out there in between these fronts.
You know, and I'm looking at my date book right here, all the things I need to do, and I looked at, and it looked, you know, I look pretty good for this weekend. And then I realized it's a monster truck jam, and you know, it's all weekend, and I'm just too busy with monster truck jam.
Well, we'll see you at Monster Jam, all right? Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy.
I'll meet you there. See you, man. Take care. Love you.